Ning, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story with us. I'm really looking forward to learning about your background. So let's start with that first. I know you've you're a world traveler. You've been to a lot of different places. So walk me through that journey and from beginning, just so we can get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So I was originally from China. I born and raised there. Then I got my bachelor degree from United Kingdom, and after I graduated from the University of Nottingham, I went to Australia to get my internship, and then after the internship, I went to Boston to just have my master degree. So that's the whole story about my travel history. I have been studying and working in 4 different countries. And during that time, I bought and sold a lot of used products. That's how I come up with the idea to start the company. And I decided to start my own career after graduation from the school.
Okay, so let's back up for a second. In Boston, what college were you with, and what were you studying?
Boston College, I majored
Okay,
in project management.
perfect. Okay, so you sort of understand technology world, obviously, and Boston is a hotbed for startups. So now, you know, let's talk about the problem that you sort of faced, and give me sort of a flavor of what the issue was.
Yeah, of course. So during my pastime, like I lived and studied in a lot of different places. So I moved a lot, and I bought or sold a lot of used products. And I noticed there are two major pain points in this industry. So it's a really big industry, but it's low efficient because the two pain points. The first one will be the trust and safety concern. Like people are having fear to be cheated or injured by strangers when dealing with the public. And also, especially for girls, they have the concern to invite strangers to their home to pick up the items or to meet someone on the street. So it's really hard to build credibility between the buyers and the sellers. So that's a really big pain point. And shamefully, I was also scammed on Craigslist before. So I feel that pain point a lot. And the second one will be the moving and transportation solution. So like right now, there are a lot of affordable user products on the market. So like most of them are 80 or 90% off. However, people are having a hard time to bring the items back to home. Like even it's 1 mile away from your home, you need to have a pickup truck to go there and get the items. It's a lot of cost. It's a lot of efforts. So these two major pain points are the major deal breakers in the user market as well.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the products first that we're talking about. I know we sort of before we hit record, you mentioned everything from, a book to furniture that you might have in your home. So tell me what sort of products you're really targeting and what that market looks like.
So basically, we are not limiting any categories. I mean, we are not limiting ourselves to any specific categories, but we do have our own preference. So my personal favorites will be the furniture and household items,
Hmm.
electronics. So and also maybe some fashion products as well. So that's my personal preference. However, people can post anything on our site.
Got it. Perfect. And so if we are talking about furniture, right now the biggest markets are, places like Craigslist or, eBay or things like that. And that you've said, obviously the two issues that you highlighted, one is the safety concerns and not getting scammed on platforms like that. How are you addressing the other issue, which is actually transporting, furniture and heavier things
Yeah.
from one party to another?
Yeah, so first of all, we are leveraging the benefits of the community. So the first obvious
Okay.
solution will be try to avoid the problem entirely. So if you are looking for some products upstairs or downstairs in the same building, let's say your apartment from your neighbors. So if you bought a sofa from them, what you need to do is just to go upstairs and pick it up and move to your home. That's all you need to do. So by community, a lot of times people can avoid the transportation problems entirely. So that's the
Hmm.
first solution. And also, secondly, we are also working on a delivery service as well. So it's not live yet, but we're working on it to connect users with local movers to offer affordable delivery service. So I mean, there is a sentence in the United States saying, "If you have a truck, you're a friend of everyone." So people are trying to take advantage of others' trucks.
Right.
So many of them have the desires they want to make some money of their trucks. That's why we're offering this opportunity to them. So this feature will be live in the future, but not yet. So
Not yet. Okay. And how are you addressing the payment issue just to avoid scamming? Let's talk through that as well.
yeah, so we integrated escrow payment system. So once the buyer makes a payment, we won't release it to the seller directly. We will temporarily hold the payment until the buyer confirms the receipt of the item. So the buyer will have the time to inspect the items. They will have time to talk to the seller and confirm, yeah, it's the correct item they want to get. So then they can click the release button. So in case of any disputes, we will be, step of it. So we will participate in the investigation process, and we will check both from the buyer's and seller side and make a judgment. So we will be the middleman.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So I think now I sort of understand what the market is, what you're going after. Tell me your story. When did you start working on this product, and what that initial period was like?
Yeah, so I got this idea after my graduation from Boston College at the end of 2018. So at that
Okay.
time, I thought, okay, there got to be a better way to buy and sell used products, and the best way will be in your community. So that's the time I draw the draft on the paper and saying, okay, this is the product I really want. And then I talked to my CTO. At that time, I found a CTO called Shubham Parekh, who has a 6 years experience, and he also think it's a really good idea. So that's how we met with each other and start working together. And after a year, by the end of 2019, we launched the products.
Fantastic, fantastic. So you launched it in 2019. Obviously, a very interesting times. That first going into 2020 and getting running into COVID. What was that first year like? Walk me through the initial period where you were accepting customers onto the platform.
Yeah. So as the first time when we started the company, we thought we are a pure B2C company. So we are entirely like customer to customer. That's how it works. But later on, we realized it's not the case. So the most efficient way to advertise ourselves is by leveraging the internal influence of in a community. For example, like no matter how hard we try, we're always a third party to the apartment residents or to university students. We are always a third party vendor. So we are not convincing enough. However, if we let the we let the community owner do the job for us, if let's say the leasing office, they're the authority in an apartment. So if we let them to advertise for us, it's more efficient. So that's the time we realized we have some B2B element as well. So we started switching our gear from the pure B2C to kind of B2B sort of direction. So now we are pitching to different communities and trying to leverage their internal influence. That's how we acquire customers.
Fantastic. So give me a couple more examples of that B2B idea. You said leasing office. So we're talking about an apartment complex
Yeah.
where tenants
So
can essentially buy and sell from each other. Give me a couple more examples just so we're clear on this.
yeah, sure. So communities can be any type of community with buying and selling demands. So for apartments, the authority will be pretty obvious, the leasing office. And for the club, will be the club members, club's boards. Most clubs have their boards and also their like presidents. So they will be the one who will contact us. And also for others like a university, so we are finding some like the students union, some sort of thing like this, or
Mm,
the university housing department can be a potential reach. So different. It totally depends on the types of the communities and the attribute of the community. So that's how we reach out to their decision makers. And as exchange, we also allow them to take a commission fee from an internal transaction as well. So for example, if you are the lease office, so every time we residents buy and sell use the products, you can get a cut from it. Let's
oh,
say
wow. Okay.
let's say you want to charge 10%, then if the resident is selling a laptop for $100, you will get $10 from it. So that's
Got
an
it.
incentive for them to promote the products for us.
Got it. Got it. That's fantastic. You used the word communities several times in that. Give me. I understand the university model because obviously students can buy and sell between each other. I understand the apartment. Give me an example of a community that's unique.
That's unique. So
Unique meaning not an apartment complex or a university. Uh, uh,
do you think club is kind of unique?
yeah.
Uh,
So what do you mean by a club? Yeah.
Yes, for example, like we recently onboarded a club in New Hampshire called FSC Ski Club. So
Oh,
they
ski
have,
club. There you
yeah, they have around 200 people,
go.
and every year they will host an event for for people to buy and sell used ski equipment, especially
Oh, okay.
for their childrens. Like their children will grow up every year, so each year they need to update their used ski equipment, and they're pretty expensive. They're like more than $1,000 each, and they need to
Right.
get away of them every year. So every year they will host that event. However, due to the COVID this year, they have to make it virtual. And because we are the only one with the community concept, so they turn to us. They want to say, "Hey, we want to host the annual like buying and selling event on your platform. Can you set up a community for us?" So
Right.
this is a typical user case where the community want to get some benefits, want to leverage the virtual community for their members. And on top of, apart from that, like I just mentioned, they can also get a cut from it.
Right.
So that's totally up to them. If they want to take 20%, that's fine. 30%, that's also fine, as long as
Right.
their members can accept it.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I understand by clubs and communities. Now, let's go back to the timeline. We're coming into 2020. How did COVID impact you? Uh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I would say from the operation side, it doesn't affect a lot. I mean,
Okay.
most of our users will talk online, they will post the products online, and then maybe they need to meet each other once in a while to exchange the products. But generally speaking, it doesn't affect negatively. The one thing it impacts us a lot is the marketing side. So, like I mentioned before, we are kind of like a B2B as well. So we need to pitch to the community owners. But a lot of that deals, I mean, they can be done more efficiently if you have an in-person meeting. If you can meet the guy in person, face to face, and then introduce them about the products, that can be done really quickly. However, due to the COVID restrictions, we need to host a Zoom meeting like this a lot of times, meaning some of them are response really slowly. Like we had a meeting maybe this month, and they get back to us next month saying, okay, they will on board, and then after another month, they will say, okay, let's do that, do that. So it's kind of
Right.
low efficient. It has a little bit negative impact on our like a partnership side. So it, I mean, extends the lifelong time.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So now bring us up to date. What kind of traction do you have? How many users do you have on the platform as of today?
Yeah, sure. So since we launched the products by the end of 2019, so we have been operating for like 13 months, roughly over a year. So we acquired more than 100,000 in downloads and also acquired more than 55,000 in registered users. And also it continued growth with 15% month-over-month growth rate. So we also built more than 100 communities, including like the apartments, the Doven company or the Hamilton company. They are like apartments for MIT, and also including some clubs like ski clubs from the New Hampshire, and also some
Mm,
reputable companies like WeWork. Each WeWork building is a community as well. So we are an
right.
official partner of WeWork. And then
Oh,
some
wow. Okay.
also like a charity organization like SPCA or United Way. They're also trying to get some benefits from their members. So that's how we partner with them. And also we acquired more than 250K thousand dollars in transactions in the past year. So that's the
Fantastic.
traction so far. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. I understand you had an issue with the payment platform. Let's just touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
You sort of stopped accepting payments mid last year, mid 2020. What was the reason, and what's sort of the outlook going forward?
Yeah, the first reason will be the fluency of the payment gateway. So we were using a payment gateway called BlueSnap before. So the user experience, I mean the payment experience is okay, but not that fluent, not that perfect. So we are
Hmm.
trying to switch it to a better experience called Strap. And also the second reason will be the fraud issue. So we are trying to reduce the fraudulent activities. We are trying to reduce the risks. That's why we integrate anti-fraud technology called SIFT. So
Okay,
this two payment gateway and integration takes a little bit of time. So that's why we're still working on it and temporarily shut down the payment system for now.
got it. When do you expect that payment system to come back? Because that's obviously a major part of generating revenue for the platform. When do you see that coming back online?
Yeah.
How long? Yeah.
So I would say it's almost done. So probably within 1 month or two, it will be back to the online. But
Okay.
I would also say that that's not our only revenue model as well. We have a really diverse business model.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. What are the different ways you're monetizing the platform?
Yeah, so the first one will be pretty straightforward. It's a commission fee. So we charge 8% from each transaction. And the second
Okay.
way, we have an in-app purchase. It's an optional purchase for those sellers who want to promote their products. So let's say you want to sell something faster, you can pay a small fee like $2 a day or $3 for 2 days to highlight the items. So this is really popular in the resale industry. And the third one will be the community creation fee. So it's always free to join.
Mm.
If you are a member of any community, it's free for you to join. But just in case you want to start your own community, you can pay a one-time fee to set it up and also start charging commission fee from internal transactions. And lastly, we will take advertisements in the future. Because of our unique community concept, we have really precise database of different users. So we can push the advertisements really efficient to different types of communities in the future.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So I'm really fascinated with this community concept because obviously no one else is really doing it. Um, what kind of reception have you gotten from the communities that you've approached? And then obviously, for example, the ski community that you've signed up. What was the conversation like?
I would say because they are internal community, so they are like a private community. So we won't be
Mhm.
able to, recognize their internal communication. We won't be able to have access to
Right.
that
Of
part. Yeah,
course.
but
Right.
what we noticed from what we received the feedback from their owner is, most of the communities are also using our platform as a network channel. So they will talk
Mm.
with each other, chat with each other in our group chat. So for each community, we also have a group chat as well for them to
Oh,
live
wow.
chat with
Okay.
each other with different members. So what we noticed from the member side, so a lot of them are using us as a social networks, and also apart from that, from the marketplace side, we also noticed that community users are 4 to 8 times more active than free users. So
Oh,
on
wow.
average,
Okay.
each of them post more than 4 times items than the free users. So that's
Right.
a really
Right.
good sign for us that community members are more active.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so another community that I definitely want to touch on is WeWork. How did you get into WeWork? Obviously, a very big player, and what does your service look like today?
Yeah, so for WeWork, actually our first office is in WeWork. That's how we get in touch
Oh,
with them.
okay.
We rent their office. Then at that time, we launched our products, and then we talked to the managers at downtown Boston. Say, hey, we got this really excellent service, and I see a lot of WeWork members are moving in and out, and a lot of them have the demand to sell their office equipment, like a desk or a lamp, something like this. So I
Right.
said, why don't we start up a community for WeWork? So your members can buy and sell office equipment every time they move in and out. So it can save a lot of waste. And they take a look at the products and they agree with it. So we become an official partner of WeWork. That happens in the early 2020. And then after that, it works pretty well. We have roughly around 40 members right now in that single building. And then apart from that, they also recommend us to their headquarters. I'm not sure where their headquarters is, but they refer us to them and saying,
Hmm.
suggest us to become an official partner of the work. So that's how we connect them.
Got it. Got it. Are you now an official partner, or is that still in the works?
They're reviewing the documents, but
Okay.
we are currently an official partner of their downtown WeWork, but not the
Got it.
whole brand. So we are trying to onboard with their whole brand, and it will. It's expected to be done in the next month, I would say.
Got it. Got it. Okay, fantastic. Now let's talk about what you want to achieve going forward. What does the future look like for you? The rest of 2021. Let's start there.
Yeah, so first of all, of course, we are fundraising. We want to raise our first institutional round. We were bootstrapping in the past, and since we got a lot of tractions, we think it's the right time to fundraising. And after raising the first seed round, we plan to first expand it to the West Coast. We're mainly operating in Massachusetts and nearby states like Pennsylvania, Florida right now. So we are also want to, expanding to the West Coast because we receive a lot of invitation from there actually. So some community owners
Interesting.
right there saying, can you build a community for us on the West Coast? So we see a really big demand in that area. And the second thing we are going to do is to form a department called the business development or the sales. So that's the part we didn't realize in the past. So we didn't realize we need that department until we start pitching to communities. So
Right.
that's a new start for us. We want to form a department specifically for community relationships. So
Okay.
that will be the plan for this year.
Got it. Okay. And then let's talk about sort of the ramp up going forward, over the next 3 to 5 years, maybe even the exit. What's your outlook?
Yeah, so in the next 3 years, I'm expecting to form a concept about the users. So there is a better way to buy and sell user products. So I want to educate users. If you want to buy and sell something, the best way is to get into your community. So why don't just you sell it or buy it from your neighbors? Why don't you just buy or sell from with your community members? So that's the thing we're trying to do is to educate users. And in the 5 years, I would say we want to form a culture that people in the same community will take care of each other and also resolve each other's needs. So no matter people move to a new apartment, no matter people have a new hobbies, so every time when they are involved in a community, so if you have the idea, okay, there is a platform called TagHawk that I can reach out to my community members. So that's the point I value a lot, because at the current stage, for example, I just moved to a new apartment last summer. I have a lot of questions. I want to know what's the best restaurants nearby, what's the best car wash nearby. For that kind of
Mhm.
information, I can only get from my community members. But
Right.
currently, I have no way to contact them unless I knock their door. But it's not always an option, right? So
Right.
people need a better way to connect with the community members. So that's our vision in the next 5 years is to build this concept and spread the word. Say, hey, if you belong to any sort of community, TechHawk is the way to go.
Right. 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 No, that's such a fantastic idea. Um, Tell me a little bit about uh, your team and what the other members look like. We obviously now know you, so introduce us to the other members.
Yeah, sure. Just forgot to mention one more thing. That
Yeah.
I before I traveled between different countries, I also worked for some big brands as well. Like I worked for Uber in the past as a business developer, and I also worked
Okay.
with PR Group, it's a big bank, as a marketing agent. So I also had some marketing experience in the past. And then I met Jim Waters in 2018. So at that time, he just sold his last company. He started a data company and successfully sold it. So he's a
Nice.
really senior guy. He has more than 30 years experience in marketing. So we met each other at a conference, and then I told him the idea, and he's really resonated with the idea. That's why he decided to join me to build this company together. So he's also our first employee. He's in charge of all the marketing activities now. And apart from him, we also have a junior level called Karina. So she's recently graduated from Rochester University, and she's also helping Jim to do all the marketing stuff. And we also have Shubham Parekh, like the CTO I mentioned before. He has more than 6 years experience in coding and operation. And then we also have some other interns and associates as well. And we also have one advisor called Peter Welkin. So he's a really senior guy. He has more than 20 years experience in e-commerce. And he also was a former full-time employee of TechHawk. But we have to transfer him to a consultant because of the fund limitation. So he's
Okay.
really smart. He graduated from Harvard and experienced. So we want to have him back in the future.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So it seems like you're surrounding yourself with a lot of really good employees. Have you had any discussions with like partnering with other brands or joining hands with other apps beyond just TagHawk?
So what do you mean by partnership like that?
So,
Uh,
partnering with, other service providers who may be working in the ecosystem or who may be already working with clubs and organizations that you're sort of going after.
okay, so we didn't have any sort of partnership like that. So the
Okay.
mostly partnerships with our customers, like the different communities. So
Okay.
those are the major customers. Apart from that, I would say not yet.
Okay. So tell me about the pipeline of communities that you might have right now. It sounds like you already have a handful of organizations that are on the platform.
Yeah.
What does the pipeline look like? How many other organizations are you in talks with?
Well, actually, we're still in discussion with plenty of them. I would say
Okay,
roughly another 100 in discussion. But communities is a really popular thing in United States. Just in
right.
Massachusetts, we have thousands of communities, clubs, apartments, universities. We have thousands of them. So I would
Right.
say it's a really, really big opportunity. And we are because we are the first community-based marketplace, we are trying to build the largest community network in the US as well. So right now, people don't have a way to contact different communities. They have to figure out their internal communication like email or text. But with our platform, people will have the leverage to talk to each other directly and also post and buy and sell user items within the community as well. So I would say it's a big opportunity.
Fantastic, fantastic. No, this definitely seems like a very interesting project and a really interesting app that you're developing. Is there anything else I've left off that you might want to highlight about this about your company?
Yeah, of course. So there are a couple of things. Most of them are potentials of the company. So we are
Okay.
a marketplace, but we are seeing much more than that. So first point will be, apart from the traditional communities, there are also some potential opportunities. For example, like an influencer. If you have like a million users on YouTube or Instagram, how do you monetize them, right? So right now
Hmm.
we are giving them an opportunity to start a community on our platform, and also followers can balance sell stuff between each other. Meanwhile, brings revenues to the owners. So that's a
Hmm.
way that we can see in the future is a potential for people to buy and sell user products. And also for nonprofit organizations. So if they want to get some donations, people can post their products in that community and saying, okay, we will give 100% of the revenues to the community owners. So in this way, people can donate their user stuff to the nonprofit organization as well. So that's another, I mean, applicable channel in the future. And apart from that, we also have different directions. For example, community service. If someone in my apartment pay me $20 to walk the dog or to mop the floor, I'm more than happy to
Hmm.
take it. And I'm pretty
Right.
sure I'm not the only one who is willing to take it. So I would
Right.
say community service will be a really big channel in the future as well. And lastly, furniture refurbishments. So we want to collect the furniture or some clothing and then refurbish them and resell them. So this is a little bit heavy asset. So we will only consider that as an early stage. Sorry, as a later stage. But that's also a potential for us as well. So
Fantastic. So you have a lot of channels that you can go after. I especially like the idea of providing services to your organization, to your community, and it could be something as simple as walking a dog. So I really appreciate this app that you've developed, and I think the future looks very bright for you. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with me today. I really appreciated getting to know you.
yeah, my pleasure. Hope you like the products. And you can also download it on Apple Store, Google Play Store. And one thing I'm really proud of it is the design. I'm a big design
Mm.
fan, so I take really strict, policy on the design part. I would say it's the best design app in the market.
Fantastic. So no, I'll definitely download it and take a look and see if there is anyone in my communities or around me who I can connect with and start trading with. So thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.